guys, we're picking it back up with the documents today. All right. So what do we got? What do we got here? Gonna be a light day today, guys. Light day. I tell you, the Curse of the Hobbit ain't no joke because, it ain't no joke. Okay. And no, I cannot handle the tooth. So that has to come out today. So wish me luck, guys, because it ain't fun. I'm sure you guys already know if you ever had to deal with this. It is not fun. So I think it's the Curse of the Hobbit. We're going to call it that. All right, but let's pick it up. We got November 15th, and this helps me too, guys. This helps me take my mind off it. All right, let's go. All right. 2 days after the event, Detective Powell and I conducted a telephone interview with blank. Blank provided the following information. All right. Xana and Maddie worked for approximately 2 years. Maddie was a reliable employee who was well liked. Xana was a she would and call in sick. Xana got better over the past year and was well liked. Both girls were very sweet in nature. She did not know either girl well outside of work. Maddie ran the Instagram feed for... Now, I think we're talking about the Mad Greek, right? She is unaware of anything unusual happening with either girl at the business or in their personal lives. She provided us with two names and phone numbers of other employees who worked with Xana and Maddie. Okay, and they list the names, blank, blank, blank. In a follow-up text message with Detective Powell, she provided the name and phone number of a third employee of this person. Okay, 3 days after the event, Detective Powell and I conducted a telephone interview with All right, regarding his knowledge and relationships with Xana and Maddie. He provided the following info. All right. He was not friends with either one of them outside of work. He remembers that Xana or Maddie told him they had a stalker, but wasn't sure which one told him that. All right. He was aware of a Twitch stream video taken at the grub truck that showed Maddie and Kaylee together the night before they were unalived. Now, this is on the 16th, so he was aware of the grub truck 3 days after the event. Yeah, okay. His friend Blank showed him the video. And Blank was at the grub truck at the same time Kaylee and Maddie were. Well, how about that? He was unsure of Blank's last name. His friend showed him a video. He was there at the grub truck with them, but he was unsure of Blank's last name. All right, Blank told him a guy who walked up with Kaylee and Maddie told him he was there to help them get home. I'm here to help you. But in the video, the girls never talked with the guy. That's true, they didn't. They talked with him on the way to the grub truck, but not at the grub truck. In reference to his viewing of the video, it looks like Jack Showalter recognizes there's a camera and he flips his hat around and pulls up his hoodie. Jack Showalter. Blank told him when the girls left the food truck, they got into a blue Honda or a blue sedan. He was unsure. Now, does Eric drive a blue Honda or a blue sedan? Somebody has a blue Honda at the house, correct? There's a Honda at the house, correct? Anyway, 3 days. Okay, November 16th again. Detective Powell and I conducted a telephone interview with blank blank, an employee at blank regarding her knowledge and relationships with Xana and Maddie. She provided the following info. All right, she's worked at. I'm guessing this is the Mad Greek, guys. She's worked at the Mad Greek since May of this year, 2022. She never worked with Maddie. but she was friends with Xana at work, but never hung out with her outside of work. She bonded with Xana over having their first boyfriends. Okay, that's weird. Okay, she goes to school at blank, blank, blank. Xana lived in a house which she described as a rough environment prior to moving into her current residence. There was a lot of partying at that house. Things got better for her after she moved out. And she looks like she moved into the exact same environment with even more partying. I don't know. She knows that Xana used this, Adderall, and we've also heard of Coca-Cola. Yeah, she believes Xana told other coworkers she had a stalker. Everybody has a fucking stalker. Everybody's got a stalker. She believes Xana told other coworkers she had a stalker, but didn't hear that from her personally. So that could be rumor. Somebody has a stalker. She heard that from after Xana was unalived. Here's that stalker again. Xana, yeah, like little G. Xana and another person, blank, did not get along. Blank didn't get along well with most staffers at the Mad Greek, but she thinks it's all work-related. All right, let's keep going. November 18th now, 5 days after the event, Detective Pal and I conducted a telephone interview with this person, a cook at the Mad Greek, regarding her knowledge and relationships with Xana and Maddie. She provided the following info, okay? Blank, she was in a relationship and living with this person, blank, blank, also a blank at the Mad Greek, an employee. She heard from blank, blank that Xana or Maddie had a stalker again, but wasn't familiar with any details. She knew no personal details about either one of them. Okay, another one here. Again, 18th. Detective Pal and I conducted an interview with at the Moscow Police Department. Okay, this one's in person. Blank is a blank that works for several local businesses, including the Mad Greek. All right, he provided the following info. He worked as a for the Mad Greek for approximately 4 to 5 years. He knew Xana for 4 or more years through Approximately 2 months prior to the unalivings, he went to Xana's residence to fix a dryer for $50. He mainly had contact with Mad Greek employees at the but he did have a blank to help with small jobs away from work, part-time gig. Blank took off his sweatshirt, rolled up his sleeves, and showed us his bare arms. There were no visible injuries or notable marks on his arms. Now again, that doesn't mean anything. Just because there's no visible marks or injuries doesn't mean the person wasn't involved. Especially if they're covered or if they have some sort of covering on them where they're not going to be bruised or their marks are going to be left on them. He attempted to text Xana after the homicides. Of course she didn't respond. All right. Now, why would you do that? I don't understand that. I don't get it. Why would you attempt to text Xana after hearing of the homicides? Well, you would hear about her being unalived, correct? Okay. All right. I don't get it, guys. I don't fucking get it, man. Maybe it's my tooth. I think the tooth is making me crazy here. All right, November 22nd. 9 days now. Detective Pal and I conducted another telephone interview with somebody else, with blank blank, regarding her knowledge and relationships with Xana and Maddie. She provided the following information. All right, let's go. She started working at the Mad Greek as of mid-July to August of 2022. She did not know Xana and Maddie very well. She did not spend time with either one away from work. Okay. Blank is touchy, gives her a creepy vibe, and asked her an inappropriate question. She said blank was at blank blank Mad Greek eating one day when a girl walked in with a low-cut shirt, and he asked this girl if that girl was Ard. Oh, wow. Who the fuck is this person? Here's another potential great suspect. Listen to this, guys. So a girl walks into the Mad Greek restaurant wearing a low-cut shirt, right? And this prick, he asked and made a statement that if this girl was assaulted, it would be her fault. Oh my Lord. Idaho, hey Moscow, you got some interesting characters running around, dangerous characters running around. She wondered why he would say something like that. Yeah, and just thought he was a little creepy. Yeah, I'd say a lot. You're making comments like that shit. Yeah, it sounds like, again, that sounds like little fucking G, doesn't it? Sounds like little G. Remember, little G would go into the Mad Greek restaurant and start spouting out off his weird values and ideas and getting into arguments with Maddie. Remember, little G. Oh, there's a lot more to, well, we know, there's a lot more to little G. Anyway, let's go on. Anything else? Nope, that's it for that, guys. That's it for that. Wow. There you go. More possible suspects. More stalking. Wow. All right, we're going to do one more, and then we're going to leave it because, guys, I cannot handle the tooth. I cannot handle the fucking tooth, guys. So I'm sorry to keep bitching about it, but good grief, guys. Hey, guys, if you've ever had, like, well, you guys know. It sucks. All right, one more, and now I gotta cut it, guys. I gotta fucking cut it. All right, so this is let's see what this is. We got a white female, 19, Moscow, Idaho, residence. All right, let's see what this is, and we're gonna cut it off. We're gonna cut it. All right, December 30th, 2022. The wolf is just about to captured here. 9:45 a.m. where he already is, I think, at this point. Detective Tollison and I met with blank, and blank's attorney. Oh, here we go. I can't imagine who this is. When we're meeting with somebody and their attorney. During our meeting, hey, is it one of the roommates? During our meeting, blank was provided the blank for her review of questions to be asked of blank. The arrest of suspect Brian Koberger was published by the national news media on the morning of this interview. Right. Both Detective Tollison and I answered general questions and concerns from blank before the interview with blank. From the attorney, questions and concerns from, I'm guessing, the attorney before the interview with their client. At approximately 10:15 a.m., Tollison and I met with this person, her mother, blank and blank. Oh, God. I'm sorry, guys. Blank was provided with the an insight into our blank interview. Blank agreed to complete the I guess the checklist or whatever the fuck, I don't know. Yeah. Was provided with the list and insight into our interview. She agreed to complete the list and be interviewed about her blank friends, blank. Okay. Her interview began at approximately 11:12 a.m. Present were Detective Tollison, blank, and me. The following is a summary of the interview. Okay. Who is this, guys? Okay, yeah, this is one of the roommates. Or maybe not, I don't know. Before residing at blank in Moscow, Idaho, she had become friends with blank through her sorority pledge class. Through the sorority and blank, she met and became friends with Maddie, who was during the spring of 2022 through Maddie, she met Kaylee, but didn't really get to know her since she was in a different sorority. In August of 2022, she met Xana and Xana's boyfriend Ethan. All right. For the fall 2022 semester, the five, Mogan, Kaylee, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, became at the residence and quickly became good friends. Chapin was a regular at the residence, which helped him to feel safe within the house. I can imagine. All right. Kaylee was a very funny person, a prankster. Here we go with the pranks again. Okay, Kaylee was a very funny person, a prankster, very hardworking, and a person with positive energy. Kaylee had been in a long-term relationship with Jack Ducour, but the two mutually separated. They shared their dog Murphy, right? We know. Kaylee may have been in a relationship with was Xana's ex-boyfriend. I don't know. Maddie was very loving, a genuine person, social and outgoing. Maddie could be sassy, strong-minded, protective of the others, and could tell others to back off if they were inappropriate or unwanted. Maddie was in a good relationship with Jake, but there was a kiss between Maddie and somebody else. There was a hookup while they were in Cabo, in Mexico. Right. Yes, there was some sort of thing going on with Maddie and somebody else in Cabo. Xana was very energetic, positive energy, hardworking, nice, and genuine. She would tell the absolute truth. Xana was totally nice, but a fighter. That's not mutually exclusive. You could be totally nice and a fighter. That bugs me. That bugs me. I know it's really small, but listen, Xana was totally nice, but a fighter. I don't like that combination whatsoever. You could be nice and a fighter. I don't like that. And would address issues if needed. I know it sounds simple, but I just don't like that phrasing. Xana was in a relationship with Ethan, and the two were very good together. All right. Both Xana and Ethan were fun. Here we go, with cute bunny noses and button eyes. And the life of a part. This sounds like Miss Dillon, doesn't it? With her shallow descriptions of fucking people. Yeah. Cute bunnies and button noses. Xana was close with Xana was close with Chapin's Ethan was a social person, easygoing and easy to talk to, with goofy. This is Dylan, isn't it? Goofy and likable. See, she doesn't know how to describe people beyond a surface level here. Again, we're talking about this, guys, goes to the cartoon character stuff. This is all shallow description. Goofy, cute, likable, bunny ears. He and Xana were never far apart and had a great relationship. The couple, the roommates enjoyed having Ethan at the residence. Oh, God. Dylan or Bethany is a lot like Maddie. She wasn't actively in a dating relationship, but hung out with Within the residence, Maddie and Kaylee were the moms of the group. Xana was the fun sibling, and she and blank were the young ones of the group and enjoyed hanging out with the others. Dylan, right? She and Bethany were the young ones. Sorry, Dylan and Bethany were the young ones of the group. Right. All the housemates enjoyed partying, of course, at their residence, at Greek Funk, and just about everywhere else we can think of. And elsewhere. Yeah. Blank was regularly Alcohol and other substances were regularly consumed at the residence by the roommates and others. And blank was used by some. Adderall, Coca-Cola, whatever else. The roommates had common friends with All the roommates used iPhones and social media apps for communication, mostly Snapchat. Dylan wasn't aware of anyone using social media, or Bethany, I don't know, was of using social media or other platforms for money, but recalled Maddie may have made some money from a swimsuit brand for sharing her swimsuit pictures. Aha. Where? On what site? Maddie and Xana worked at the Mad Greek restaurant. Kaylee worked at home for a company, and Ethan, blank and blank, were not employed. Dylan and Bethany were not employed. Blank and her blank would sometimes go to Pullman. That's interesting. They'd sometimes go to Pullman, Washington for entertainment and food, but she couldn't recall going to Washington State University campus. She believes Xana had been to Washington State University to visit her. Before the homicides, Kaylee had claimed to have seen a shadowy figure. Now they're helping Dylan out here, because this is Dylan, because the way she described things is, well, shadowy figure watching her from the okay, here's from the tree. Okay, now I know what you mean. Watching her from the vegetated area behind the residence, which freaked her out. Kaylee had also told the roommates about a stalker at that grocery store in Moscow. When Maddie and Kaylee returned to the residence during the early morning hours on November 13th, 2022, Dylan and the Hobbit, the Prime and the Hobbit, joined the two in Kaylee's bedroom. The four were having fun. I don't believe this for one fucking minute, guys. Everything that happens after 2 a.m., according to, in my opinion, coming from the Prime's mouth, is a fucking lie. The four were having fun and discussing their evening. Maddie repeatedly took Kaylee's grub truck food, so they wanted to get more, but none of them could drive. Dylan attempted to call Eric, the Uber driver. No, you didn't. You texted. You texted him. You didn't call. Did you? The Uber driver to see if he could grab more grub truck food. But blank wasn't available. That is an absolute fucking lie. Dylan, oh Dylan, my prime, this is a lie. Guys, this is a lie. We know what she attempted to do with the Uber driver. That is a complete lie. Because in another interview, she says, oh, well, she fell asleep and didn't respond to his text. That's what she said. Note, see blank for prior interviews for full details. Yeah, and they're all fucking discrepant. There's discrepancies and lies. This is a lie, guys, from the Prime again. Oh my God. This is so fucking pathetic. Dylan doesn't know why her friends were unalived, but speculated it could have been out of rejection or a hurt ego. Yeah, I wonder whose. Oh my God. She believes if Maddie or Kaylee were approached by an unwanted person, Maddie would have told him to back off or go away. She also believes the suspect could have been a stalker. Oh, Dylan. Blank claimed her and Bethany were often freaked out at the house, and she felt there was someone outside her window facing the backyard periodically. Yeah, psychotic prime. Remember, she normally locks the doors but doesn't recall if she did that fucking morning. No, you didn't, because you let them in. Oh my God, guys. Dylan and her multiple fucking lies. I can't. Unbelievable, guys. Yep. Oh boy. Dylan recalled, here we go. More lies. Dylan recalled the suspect having bushy eyebrows. No, she didn't. That was fed to her by the police, and wearing a mask. She couldn't recall telling her story about the suspect having a big nose. That was the very first thing she described about him. And basketball toned, but stated she doesn't remember most details of her conversation with Blank after retreating to Bethany's bedroom. Yeah. Prior to our interview, Dylan had learned the news about Brian's arrest and had seen his picture. In her, she stated, from people releasing Brian Kohberger's name, I know it's him, but I don't know. There's your psycho prime. In her interview, she stated after looking at Brian's picture on the news, nothing came back to me at all. So that, and I feel like if I saw that, my mind would be like, oh yeah, that's him, but I don't remember it all. Right. There you go, Dylan. Yeah, that's your alibi. I don't remember it all. And they let her go after multiple lies she told. Yeah, Blank feels like there has been a glass wall. Remember the glass wall closing in on her? Between her and the things she saw and heard during the murders. Oh my God. During the murders. She can't understand why he didn't hurt her. Or Bethany, especially after she saw him inside the house. Yeah, me too. Dylan stated the unaliver was in all black and carrying an object like a small vacuum. Yeah, sounds plausible, doesn't it, guys? She thought he was wearing black boots. She doesn't recall why she thought he was carrying a mini vacuum, and she had never seen the object mini vacuum before. Yeah, evidence data. Dylan's interview audio on the 30th of December was provided to Moscow Police Department as evidence. Yeah, there you go. More and more and more of the prime and the lies. There you go, guys. Joseph Lake. Yeah, glass wall because you're psychotic. And Dylan was never arrested for her multiple lies she told to police. She got out of it. Everything's a dream. Everything's just a dream. All right, we're going to leave it right there, guys. I love you. I probably am not going to be back on here today. I got a tooth I have to deal with. All right, babies, I love you. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend. Friday. All right, we'll talk later. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye.